Here in the heart of Telangana lies Hyderabad, a city where the old and new twine. On the serene Hussain Sagar, the Buddha watches over the rhythm of modern life. And beyond the lake rises the old soul of Hyderabad, Charminar, four towers that have seen empires fade, markets bloom, and artisans at work. In the narrow veins of old city, life moves to the music of metal and memory. Walls whisper stories of traders and travelers, each lane a chapter of craft. When the sun rises, Lad Bazaar awakens, a river of color flowing beside Charminar. Bangles, beads, perfumes and pearls. Stacks of circles, each one catching the light like a secret. And hands, darkened by time, glowing in the firelight. They stir the molten hues with quiet precision, as if painting warmth into the world. And this is where the creation begins, in the quiet alchemy of patience and practice. And from the embers, beauty is born, a cascade of light, a promise of traditions renewed. Lac is not metal nor stone. It is the resinous gift of nature secreted by tiny insects that live on kusum and palace trees. The raw lac is gathered, crushed, and bathed in an alkaline solution where impurities rise and dissolve. As the solution is acidified, the dye precipitates, falling softly to the bottom like powdered crimson. This dye, purified and dried, will later lend its hue to the bangles of brides and daughters. And from here, fire returns to the story. The lac, once cooled by water, now yields again to heat, melting into a liquid gold of craft. The refining ensures lac shines evenly, its texture smooth, its glow pure. And finally, the journey comes to a full circle, from tree to hand, from nature to adornment.
कंपलसरी लाख की चूड़ी हैदराबाद की यहाँ के बताया ना मैं आपको, चाहे हिंदू हो चाहे मुस्लिम हो या कोई और फैमिली को, 15-20 साल से जो हैदराबाद में है, डेफिनेटली लाट बाजार के बिना बैंगल शादी मुश्किल हो जाए.
In the quiet pulse of the workshop, time settles into dust and color. Craft breathes in cold glow and molten lac. Workers wait in calm stillness as the slow birth of a bangle begins. The artisan begins by preparing the lac stick at the heat of the furnace. The stick itself is naturally dark, but its outer surface has been painted black with white stripes. These colors are intentional because they'll form the pattern of the finished bangles. He holds the stick close to the coal fire and rolls it slowly and evenly so the heat reaches all sides. As the lac warms, it becomes softer and more flexible, which is essential before any shaping can begin. Once the material reaches the right level of softness, the artisan picks up a basic handheld metal tool. He uses this tool to grip the heated end of the stick and gradually pulse it outward. The softened lac extends into a thin, uniform thread. This stretched thread is the initial stage of the production process and will be later used to form the main structure of the bangle. With practiced control, the artisan draws each thin strand, preparing it for the next stage. As the soft lac is pulled, the thread lengthens and more strands are formed, marking the start of its transformation. The artisan carefully controls the heat, softening the lac to its right consistency. Each movement is repeated with steady precision, pulling, stretching, and shaping the material. Step by step, these coordinated actions transform the raw lac into the beginning of a bangle. The warm strands are gathered and rolled gently. Soft and pliable, they are prepared to be shaped and formed into a bangle. He arranges the strands in a group of 3, forming sets that combine color and texture. The triads are placed back near the heat briefly, allowing the edges to soften just enough so the strands stick together and can be shaped. The braiding begins. The artisan's fingers work steadily, weaving the softened strands together. Occasional heat and careful twists help the strand bond securely. The artisan's face shows calm and focused concentration. Attention returns to braid, where every movement and detail reflects the skill and discipline developed through years. The braid is shaped into a gentle curve. The artisan bends it into an open-ended circle, a near-complete bangle, and carefully applies heat as he seals the form with steady, precise hand. Excess material is trimmed out, later using a tweezer. A softened bangle is lifted from the coal with a tweezer while still warm and pliable. The artisan places it into a circular frame, carefully pressing and adjusting it to achieve perfect symmetry. Each movement shapes it towards its final form. One artisan rolls and softens fresh lac for shaping, while other holds a bangle over flame to heat and strengthen it. The bangle is placed on the glass again. Pressed, adjusted, and corrected, it gradually takes the perfect circular shape. The artisan places the bangle, rotating it to strengthen its shape. He lifts it on his finger for a smooth single spin. And beyond the craft itself lives its lineage. The shopkeeper speaks of Rajasthan, of deserts where color becomes a language, of tradition carried through families, of bangles that once marked identity, celebration, and community.
ये हैदराबादी लाख बैंगल्स बोलते। इसका नाम तो हैदराबादी लाख बेंगल्स है एक्चुअली, लेकिन ये कारीगर बिलोंग करते राजस्थान से। राजस्थान का बहुत ट्रेडिशनल काम है, बहुत ही पुराना, जो प्योर लाख पे काम होता था। तो ये कारीगर एक लिमिटेड फैमिली है, ये लोग का कबीला बोल के हिंदी में, वो लोग ही ये काम करते हैं राजस्थान के कारीगर। तो इनके ज्यादा लोग माइग्रेट होके बहुत साल पहले हैदराबाद आ गए।
Lat Bazaar unfolds like a tapestry of sound and colors. She lifts her hands, the bangles gleam. She gazes at her adorned hands, a quiet smile as colors dance in her eyes.
वेराइटीज ऑफ चूड़ियां मिलती है, इतने कलर्स, इतने डिजाइन्स, मानो मतलब ऐसा इतना ज्यादा चूड़ियां, इतने ज्यादा वेराइटीज हैदराबाद में कहीं और नहीं है। और यहाँ आने के बाद तो लगता है कि यहाँ पे एक चूड़ियों का मेला ही है सेपरेट। तो अलग ही हैप्पीनेस आती है ये चूड़ियों को देख के। खरीदू ना खरीदू, चूड़ियों को देख के ही बहुत मजा आता है। फिर तो मैचिंग भी, डिजाइन्स भी न्यू न्यू मिल जाते, इसीलिए मैं इधर ही आती। जब मेरी शादी नहीं हुई थी तब मैं सूट और ड्रेसेस ही पहनती थी। तो जब भी नया कोई साड़ी या सूट खरीदती थी तो मैं अपने शहर में एक शॉप था, मैं अपने दैट शॉप में मैं अपने भाभी के साथ जाती थी और मैचिंग चूड़ियां, वो ड्रेस को लेके जाके मैचिंग चूड़ियां पहनती थी।
Lacquered towers rise in vibrant hue, each holding stories old yet new, awaiting hands to craft, to bend, to make them true.
वो देवियां हो या साधारण महिलाएं, श्रृंगार का एक अभिन्न अंग है चूड़ी। ये एक कंप्लीटनेस देती है। बिना चूड़ियों का हाथ मानो अधूरा श्रृंगार।
4 towers of color turn and gleam, their stones sparkling like stars in dream. A child's small hand slips bangles onto mother's wrist, a quiet wordless moment of care. The circles slide into place with gentle rhythm, a simple gesture that weaves generation together, binding love, tradition, and innocence in a single touch. Her hands rest still, adorned and complete. Back in workshop, green lac warms in skilled hands, softening, rolling, shaping. A silent dance with flame, precise and unbroken. Each strand bends and twists, shapes forming under careful hands in duet of rhythm, unfolding craft. Their workspace comes alive, cold, tool, colors, rhythm. A universe of bangle glimmers in light. Circles of color turning with quiet grace. Each one holds a spark of life, breathing softly, whispering of stories yet to be won. A bride and groom clasp hands, her bangles jingling softly, colors dancing with quiet touch. A tower of bangle rises, each set glowing with its own hue. They catch light spinning softly, whispering of hands that shape them, of fire and patience, of craft carried through generation. Each circle holds a story, a rhythm, a heartbeat of tradition. From the first touch of raw lac to the final spin on the mold, from artisan's hand to the wearers, every movement has been a note in this enduring melody. And now, as the tower stands still and radiant, we hear it fully. Khanak, the sound that lives in every rest.